The crypto markets have been selling off over the past week, and this just coincides with the approval of the Bitcoin ETF last week. And I want to discuss, what do I think going forward is going to happen? Should you be buying? Should you be selling? Should you just be hodling? Should you go into Bitcoin? Should you go into altcoins? Let's give a bit of a deep dive. Hey and welcome to today's video. My name is Julian. I'm the CEO and co-founder here at the Cake Group. 11 Bitcoin spot ETFs got approved. The price pumped up about 5%, $48,000, $49,000. And since then, the price did what some of us were fearing it would do. We have seen a buy the rumor, sell the news, meaning Bitcoin actually sold off. To me, there's three reasons on why Bitcoin, it touched 40,000. I think right now, depending on when you're watching this, we're at about 41,000. But there's around three reasons. I think first, there's a lot of people who just made tons of money in this run-up. And I mean, look, if you've been listening to our videos, if you have been dollar cost averaging over the past couple of months, maybe year, you have probably made tons of money. So a lot of other people have been doing so, and some people are taking profits. The second thing is grayscale. Now, that's something we've also been discussing in lengthy detail on the long format show that we're doing on Tuesday or on Wednesday, and we've been discussing this over the entire past year. Grayscale investors were stuck in the Grayscale trust for years. And for the very first time, they actually have a good chance to get out, and a lot of them are doing so. We have seen over $1 billion in outflow from Grayscale. The question is, how much more will we see? Some people are talking about up to $5 billion. Some people are saying we're almost done. Let's see. I think you should be expecting some more outflows from Grayscale. Now, obviously, that is going to be counterbalanced with the other ETFs, and we've seen very, very bullish trends here. We've been shattering records, trading records, over $10 billion traded in the first couple of days. That's massive. We have seen over $1 billion in inflow. We have seen Larry Fink from Blackrock coming out and saying, hey, we're super bullish on this. Bitcoin is the next digital gold. Talked about tokenization and also talked about Ethereum. I'm going to cover that as well. So there is some positive to that negative. And I think that little bit of a sell-off is not totally unexpected. The third reason here maybe is just also Gary Gensler coming out and being very cautious, saying, hey, look, we approve the ETF, but that doesn't mean we approve of Bitcoin. So you should be very cautious. And I do think, right, a lot of the traditional investors, so people who would actually want to invest in those ETFs, they're going to be a bit more cautious. They're going to be a bit more on the waiting side. So all this kind of factors in here a bit. So that buy the rumor, sell the news, not too surprising. And personally, I also want to be very clear on this. On the long-term positioning, right? That's really long-term. I am not touching any of my Bitcoin holdings. I'm going to keep dollar cost averaging. I'm not talking here what's going to happen in the next 1, 2, 3 weeks. I really want to talk here about what's going to happen over the next couple of months and years. And I have gotten on the record a lot with this. I do think the ETF is going to be a bit disappointing in the first 3 months. And I think it's going to be underwhelming from an expectation over the first 3 years, meaning most people are going to be underestimating the power of what that ETF can do. So I think that's really, really key to understand here. So I wouldn't get too nervous about this right now. I would just really focus on the long-term picture if you are a Bitcoin fan anyways. Now, for those of you that are in the bundles, the Bitcoin Builder bundle, the Market Mover bundle, here, long-term, dollar cost average, focus on the long-term. I mean, that's the entire thing around this. I think the huge surprise, right? If you'd really ask me, like, I'm in a lot of these whale trader groups. I know a lot of the other CEOs. We've had a lot of discussions on what we all expect that would happen. And the one scenario that I didn't see discussed is actually the scenario that happened, which is that Bitcoin sold off, but at the same time, Ethereum pumped. And to be honest, I felt that was the massive surprise. Now, for those of us who are actually diversified in both, right? Market mover, having Bitcoin and Ethereum, we've been winning. Where is this coming from? It is that traders and investors earlier than expected moved out of Bitcoin and are now betting on an Ethereum ETF approval by the end of May. Now, whether this is going to happen or not, we're going to take a bit of a deeper dive later on in some of the later videos. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss on any of those things. But that's going to be a very interesting focus point. From an investment standpoint, as mentioned, it's difficult to say, is Bitcoin going to see a little bit more selling off for the next couple of days and weeks? I wouldn't get too nervous about this if you are a long-term investor. You just keep dollar cost averaging. But obviously, you may consider, if you have only been betting on Bitcoin now, that maybe you diversify a little bit, right? Keep maybe the Bitcoin or convert a little bit, maybe into Ethereum, maybe look at some of our bundles. Why? Because it could easily be that there are certain other opportunities. We've also seen, I think Van Eck came out and said, hey, look, we're big fans of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. So suddenly we're seeing other coins in the mix where some of these ETF issuers come out and say, hey, maybe this is also very interesting, right? So obviously, that's also something we have in our bundles. So that might also be interesting. I think at the moment, it may be a good time to maybe diversify a little bit more. Obviously, you can do this on your own. You can take our help here with the bundles. And I think that's always a bit of a good option if you don't want to make one bet or another on one thing or another going the extreme. The beautiful part about investing is that you can take the middle. You can take the gray. You can mix. So what's happened over the last week on the Bitcoin side, I don't think all too surprising. What happened on the Ethereum side, surprising in a positive manner if you got allocation to Ethereum. I think going forward over the next couple of days and weeks, probably something a bit more similar, a bit choppy up and down, long-term bullish. I hope you are with me on that journey. Very exciting. I hope you subscribed. Give us a like button if you like this. If you want to make a prediction, make that prediction right now. We're going to check back in a couple of months. Do you think the Ethereum ETF, spot ETF, is going to happen in May? That's going to be very interesting. We're going to be discussing this in future videos. So hope you stay tuned. See you next time. All the best. Yours truly, Julian.